Right, let's get back to our top story. And Boeing has taken quite a beating in early morning trade in the U.S. Shares were down more than 10% a little earlier. Let's get the latest now from Justin Bachman. He is a Bloomberg reporter based in Dallas. Justin, so we saw quite a dip in the Boeing shares, that price a little bit earlier on. How are investors responding at the moment to this tragedy?
Well, I think investors are pretty nervous today about the stock because they're not sure what's going on with the airplane. And this airplane is really the heart of Boeing's profits. The 737 is its top-selling model. It's about a third of all the company's revenues. And it's really hard to overstate how important this airplane is to the company.
Now, this is not the first time that we've seen a disaster like this for Boeing. We saw a similar incident involving a Lion Air flight just 5 months back. How did that incident affect share prices, and they must have bounced back at some point?
They did. It was a very short-lived hit in terms of about a 1 to 2 days. The stock did come back, and it was been quite a good performer this year. So that incident was a case where I think the investing community felt that they had a sort of a good idea of what that situation was about. Boeing responded, the U.S. regulators responded somewhat, and I think that was kind of a known quantity. But today we're at a situation where the investor is not quite certain what happened with this aircraft in Ethiopia, and so you're seeing that uncertainty reflected in the stock movement.
Now, China was one of the first countries to ground this particular Boeing aircraft. They grounded 96. Boeing is an American company. Is there a sense that this is all part of the so-called trade war between the two countries in any way?
Well, it's a case we don't know, but it's certainly possible. It's worth noting, however, that no major countries so far have followed the Chinese action. You haven't seen anything in the UK, Europe, Mexico, Canada, some of those places where the MAX is a flying aircraft. So it's one of those cases where maybe, but it's really hard to know for sure.
Now, in terms of investors, are they concerned about the broader airline sector, or is this just Boeing?
Well, I think right now it's just Boeing because there is just a lack of information about what occurred yesterday, and I think as that investigation comes forward, we're going to learn more. The data will come out. We don't know when. We don't know how. But the thing about aircraft accidents is that the people looking into them, they do get to the bottom of it, and at that point, the investor will know a lot more about what's happening with Boeing.
And finally, Justin, have we heard anything, a significant statement at all from Boeing, try to calm things down a bit when it comes to their investors?
Not anything definitive. At this point, it's not likely the company will say anything in a very forceful or pronounced manner. I think they're going to wait for more information to come from this investigation. And they're also going to defer to the U.S. regulators, the Federal Aviation Administration, to see really what needs to happen here. So I wouldn't look to Boeing for any pronouncements on this case. I think that's really going to be coming from the government level in both Africa and the U.S.
All right, thank you so much. That's Justin Bachman. He's he's with the Bloomberg, and he's based in Dallas. Just talking to us about Boeing. The actual shares were down today by 10% earlier today after that Ethiopian Airlines crash.